Hello, everybody.
Hey.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off like that, Rick. It's just that we were, it was pretty much almost time to start. So,
Yeah,
um, all right. So, welcome to the mic stand, everybody. Today is, of course, Sunday, August the 9th, 2026. So, hopefully, you're coping with the heat. It is, kind of the end of summer. Now, here where I'm at in Southern California, we've been weird the last like 15, 20 years where our hottest months are actually in the fall. It's like September through early October. So, like the 6 weeks that cover from September through the first 2 weeks of October, that's actually our hottest period usually.
yeah, that would be something that I've heard the terminology known as Indian summer.
Indian country. Well,
Not country, summer. Indian summer.
Indian summer. Okay. Huh.
I'm not sure whether you've ever heard that term or not.
Well, I've heard it. I've just never known what it actually meant. I've seen it. I've heard it before. I've never heard it used in context. So
Yeah, it usually means, like fall in the fall when you're, as far as I know anyways, in the fall when you're getting the warm weathers. That's that Indian summer.
all right. Well, with that being said, like I said, so before we do get started, a friendly reminder, everybody, of course, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I will try to answer your questions to the best of our ability. Now, with that being said, before we do talk about what's on tap for tonight and all that, they hand the studio here off to Rick for a moment to give him an opportunity to promote anything he wants to promote, whether it be his channel, any projects he's involved with. Rick, I think you know the shtick, don't you? Rick knows
Yeah,
the shtick, right?
yeah. Well, sort of promoting my channel. I'm going to promote the video that I did yesterday with Metal. That was like an over 4 hour video. We were going over the entropy effect, which is the X Dynamis Chaos RPG system. And we went over that a bit about it. And then we did a character creation for it because we have Metal has an upcoming alpha beta test one shot that's going to be actually put out on my channel in a few weeks. We're going to do it live of us going through a campaign, a one shot campaign. So you get to know a lot about the entropy effect system, Metal system, all from that, and you get to see me create a character on it and go through a bunch of stuff. So that was good and interesting. So it's promoting my channel and the thing.
And it looks like Metal has something to say here. I'm still recovering from that. More from the long hours preparing before um,
And then the
and
actual
then the actual stream. Yeah, actually, Rick, what's kind of funny when I was at church today, right? So, um, so today we had a guest pastor talking, right? And he was
yeah,
talking about the idea of like um, caring for the flock within the church, right?
yeah,
Dealing with the church hurt and all that. And one portion of the sermon reminded me of something you told me a while back when I had started this little journey to see about going back to church and stuff. I was reminded, you told me one time, if you find the perfect church, run. Yeah, and I
yeah.
told and I told my pastor this. He kind of got a chuckle out of that too. So,
Uh, cool. Yeah,
anyway,
because if you find the perfect church and you join it, you're going to make it very imperfect very quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, it was some interesting stuff
Yeah.
you went over today. So, but anyways, all right. So with that being said, anything more you want to promote or anything before we?
Not at this time. Of course, I've got a whole bunch of things in the works, but nothing that's ready to really promote. You know, so
And Metal saying maybe the perfect church was the friends we found along the way.
maybe. I guess it all depends on how you want to define the perfect church. I guess most people are defining a perfect church where everybody is acting all Christ-like all the time, and they're not being selfish or nothing. Everybody's doing everything right all the time, and that's how I presume people might describe a perfect church in sort of layman's terms without going into any technical detail. But
well, anyway, even though we like getting into some of these side topics here, actually, that's not what people are here for, though.
True. They're here for some comics.
Right, we're taking a weekly trip down comics history lane, going back to September 1940. Going to be reading through books that went on sale in September 1940 when Fox Feature Syndicate. We're going to, of course, start off with Mystery Men Comics number 16. We're going to look at the Blue Beetle story.
The Boo Beetle.
Yeah.
Boo! It's the Beetle! Boo! It's the Beetle!
No, not the beetle, the Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Boo! Boo the Beetle! Boo! Boo!
Ever so funny, Rick. Ever so funny.
I try.
All right. You ready, my friend?
I guess so.
All right. Number 16, November, 10 cents. Mystery Men Comics in Canada was 15 cents. So you would have had to pay, you would have been paying 5 cents extra if you were alive back then to grab this. There's a Blue Beetle in the upper left-hand corner and on the cover itself here, of course.
Which is, in some ways, that's almost as bad as today because that's 50% extra.
And then you also had Lieutenant Drake, D-13, and Green Mask. Alrighty then, so let's move forward here. Look, boys and girls, free prizes for Cuba battle camps. Enough, 5 cents for 2. Well, there's enough for 2. Enjoy Cuba, the delicious cola drink, and save the bottle caps for prizes. Extra grand prizes free.
We have Fitzjozo here saying, "Hello, hi everybody."
Hello, Fitzjozo. Thanks for popping in. As always, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and of course, we will try to answer the question best of our ability. So yeah, you got bike, you got what looks like a roller skate, I guess there.
Yeah, roller skates make your shoes into roller skates.
Yeah. A toy plane, a doll, some
ball of mitt.
Yeah.
Toy gun. Yeah. And 5 cents for 2 pops. Wow, that is just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think today, I go up to the store for like one of the liter bottles of Pepsi. Liter bottles, not the 2 liter, the liter bottle.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We have them.
Bigger single size bottles. And I think it's something around like 3 and change at this point.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Only what 80 years ago it was
Well, they didn't have them in these sizes like 80 years ago. You
yeah,
know?
but still it would have been like maybe one of them would have been maybe 5 cents, where now it's 3 or 4. Metal said I used to have the shoes that turn themselves into roller skates.
Oh, kind of like Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget.
Do 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 do. Do. Yeah, the late great Don Adams is the one who provided the voice of Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. I'd say the joke that could go with that, but this isn't. Well, this isn't a family show necessarily, but we like to try and keep it clean. But sometimes
Right.
we do the innuendo.
Right.
But I'm not going to do the innuendo.
Yeah. Um, the Blue Beetle. Smashing down upon the underworld rackets comes the daring Blue Beetle, made almost invulnerable by special mail armor. Now, in this case, what they're talking about when they say mail armor, they're talking about more like chain mail,
Yeah.
not to be confused with the mail like you get delivered to your house or the emails that you get on your computer. This is
Or the males that we are as people.
well, definitely not that. 'Cause that version of mail is a different spelling altogether. That's
Yeah.
MALE, where this is MAIL.
Yeah.
Now, anyways, and given super energy by vitamin 2X, he crusades single-handed for law and justice. None know that in reality he is Dan Garrett, rookie policeman. The Blue Beetle defeats the gang of big dicks um, who sells um, faulty equipment to playgrounds. Now, of course, today there's a little bit more innuendo, as Rick put it earlier, with that particular term. But back then, you have to remember, Dick was short for Richard.
Yeah, but this is even spelled different than that,
Yeah.
really, because we unless they spelled it different back then, I don't know one way or another.
No. I think there is a reason that it, you know, but I guess we'll learn soon enough. I guess.
Yeah, maybe not. It depends.
All right. So the children lie motionless and wreckage of the faulty playground material amid the wreckage of the faulty playground material. Tommy, why don't you say something? You want to try the other? Okay, I guess I'll do the girls. Mary, dear, can't you hear me?
Okay, can we go back up a sec? I want to see this. They were on a slide. That slide is not the big. I don't know how they would be flying off like that, off that slide, breaking like that. And he's not falling that far. He should not be unconscious. I don't see he would be unconscious either.
Well, unless they hit a portion of the broken, let's say hit like somehow when it all crashed like that, that's a piece of debris may have hit them.
Yeah, but technically, I can't even see how it would fall apart like that. It would just crunch under them. I would more suspect, but I know it's comics, but I just
Yeah,
had to say so.
and if you've watched when I've been on with Metal before, we've talked about how you know a lot of the creators at this time, they didn't have, let's just say that their knowledge of scientific theory was a little warped if for
This I wouldn't even say would go into scientific theory. This is something that you could go in and see almost easy now
right.
what would happen. But anyways, I just had to say something, you know.
Yeah. Insane with grief, the mother of the dead little girl carries her on. Whoa. So the only way that the girl could have died in that fall is if she hit her head like directly on something hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it didn't look like that, or something plunged through part of her body, and
Well,
nothing was moving that fast to get plunged through.
okay. Well, sometimes on a slide though, you're sliding down and then with the end of it, you do kind of come up a bit, but somehow, maybe she caught enough momentum because the way she looks right there, she looks like she is going to hit the ground. Not only what might she get hit with debris there, but she might be in a position where she might hit her head smack on the ground, and like
Yeah, but
and
it's looking like it's grass around that area or whatever. If we go down
yeah, but
just,
even like from
I
the
know
look
that can be
from the look
hard, but
from the looks of it, she was high enough off the ground there that if she hit her head just right, she could have broken her neck.
yeah,
Because
it,
look, she's upside down at this point, right?
yeah,
Falling
but
to the ground with her head going first. So whether it's hitting it like this or like this, there's a good chance that she makes a strong enough impact. I don't know if Metal would have something to say about this or not about what I'm saying here, but
yeah.
it's
Well,
quite possible. It's quite possible that the way she's flying there, she might hit her head at a point, in a way where her neck would actually just snap. You know,
yeah. Well, technically, the way she's going, I see her more coming. Well, I guess she could go backwards and land on her back, but I'm more seeing it as she'd come forward a bit and end up landing, doing a face plant, basically.
yeah, but even doing a face
Yeah,
plant, depending upon like, yeah,
yeah.
it
But
like doing
uh,
doing a face plant when depending upon how she landed, wouldn't may not necessarily be that much. I mean, if it's a point where she like completely rotates to
yeah,
where she's like doing the face plant with her whole body, with her whole body, basically hitting the
yeah,
ground flat, like,
yeah,
and basically, I believe it's called a um supine position. Basically, where you're basically like this, basically on the ground. You're
yeah,
just, but if her body doesn't necessarily rotate back around to where she's flattening out, if she's landing like this with her
yeah,
head back like this and doing the face plant, that would definitely snap her neck.
yeah. It's hard to say, but it's also making it look like they're doing some sort of explosion here. Like, it's saying that this guy is selling faulty equipment, or what did it say? Go down just slightly. The world's rocket, so we can
Yeah,
see
I
that
mean,
caption.
yeah, I mean,
I just can't see the whole caption box there.
yeah, but um, but anyways, well, let's get back to the story here. Okay, so we read that part. The poor thing doesn't know her child is dead.
It's been happening to 2 of 10 children being hurt in
Too
playground.
often.
Too often, children being hurt in playgrounds.
My child, my little girl, was murdered. Mother declares that child was murdered by faulty play equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't think she was killed by faulty, but I don't know if murder you could call it murder. Maybe
yeah,
because murder requires intent, right?
yeah,
Intent to kill.
yeah.
So
But like it's faulty equipment because they've made it wrong or whatever. Okay. I can't see an explosion happening like it put. I can just see it falling apart and them falling to the ground on it. But
mhm.
there's a lot of suspense of disbelief here at this point. This one, anyways. But anyways, let's get through it. This one seems like one that we're going to be able to really pounce on almost every little detail here.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to get through it.
All right. Dan Garrett and Mike Manigan stop at the coffee pot.
I'd like to get my hands on the murderer, Scalpions, responsible for the kid's death.
He is a murderer, just as if he held a pistol to the kid's head. I mean, I could see maybe involuntary manslaughter at best, but
Yeah,
again, murder requires actual intent. Like they intended
yeah.
to kill the
I get
child.
like you said, I get what you mean.
Yeah. Joan Mason, girl reporter, greets Dan Garrett. Dan, I've just come from interviewing the dead kid's mother. It was awful. It was a terrible accident. It was murder. And Big Dick is responsible, selling the city that paper he calls wood. But okay, so here's the natural question: was he selling it cheap because he was intending for people to get hurt, or was he just cutting corners for profitability's sake?
Probably cutting corners for profitability's sake is would be my
Yeah.
guess.
So hold on. So leaving the coffee pot.
What's the matter with us?
This racket is a case for the Blue Beetle. Dan Garrett becomes aware that they are being followed. You both are brave, but after all, there is only one Blue Beetle.
And I'll bring him in yet too.
Sure you will, Mike. The men quickly surround the policeman and the girl reporter.
If your compass want to live, scram!
Big, Big Dick's gunman.
Why you?
If you weren't such a loudmouth reporter, you might live. Dan flips the gunman over his head. Pow! How do you like that for pitching?
And now they're going to go after the reporter just because she reported that a kid's mother, or that it was murder and the kid's mom doesn't like it and all that. It's like, okay, you're stupid to do that. You're just bringing attention to yourself. I'll plug ya for
You all cry too much. How do you like these bracelets? What a
how do you?
story. What a story.
Not as good as the blue. I think that's you. I think we messed up on this one. How do you like these What do you like these bracelets?
What a story. Not as good as the Blue Beetle, but
I'll be taking these birds to the station house, Dan.
my city editor will just eat up this story. Big Dick's man arrested. I'll see you later. I have some business to attend to. Nice work too. Nice work, Dan. Too bad you weren't the Blue Beetle to capture Big Dick himself. If only she knew.
Yeah. And hello, Raul. Raul is here and he says, I'll be taking these birds to the birdhouse. And then Fitzjoseph says, I just found out that Hydrox cookies are still around. Okay. I have no idea what Hydrox cookies are, but cool, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You can't have everything. Entering the alleyway next to Dr. Franz's drugstore, Big Dick must be brought to justice. Dan watches.
Oh, I just getting a kick out of that almost every time. It's just crazy. The name.
Well, only because obviously,
yeah,
how it's used today. That naturally is gonna when we're looking back on history and we're looking at how terms were used, of course.
Yeah,
and we compare to how they're used today. Sometimes that can be funny.
Let's see. He says Hydrox made sandwich cookies before Oreo. Oh, okay. It's funny that Oreo was created as a ripoff of Hydrox, yet nobody remembers Hydrox. Well, I don't know whether they were actually here. That name brand was here in Canada or not, so I'm not sure whether I would be able to remember. We have a lot of knockoff Oreos around up here. I know that. You guys probably do down there. So, or maybe they're knockoff Hydrox. I don't know. But anyways, on with the show.
Yeah, so Dan watches his friend, Dr. Franz, through the window of the laboratory in the back of the drugstore. Dan enters the room silently.
You startled me, boy. You startled me, my boy. You drifted in like the wind.
I didn't want anyone to see me, so I came in through the window. Dan prepares to change into the costume of the Blue Beetle. So you see, I must get big dicks.
This is reading like a porno.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know because is it? I don't think it was written obviously as a porno, but I guess because of how we use such terms today.
Yeah.
it can't because unfortunately it's like lead. It does kind of lead you into. It does unfortunately lead you into that realm of it does lead you into that realm of of impropriety, as it were.
Yeah, entendres, double entendres, and all that.
Right.
Yeah, soon he'll be saying he wants to inspect her gadget.
Anyways.
Anyways, yeah. The murder of children must be brought to justice. And hello, CJ Posh. He says, what did I stumble into?
Well, CJ, I'll explain it. So this is of course normally we do as I call it, a historical comic retrospect, where we go back and read old comics, usually and we read them in character, of course, and we give our analysis.
Yeah. Well, he knows. He knows he's been here before. He's a friend of mine in real life.
Okay.
And Fitzgerald says again, is this the famous Big Dick issue of Blue Beetle? And then Posh is like, yeah, I get that, but the reading, yeah, unfortunately, what they did back then. Language, as we've said, has changed a lot over the last 80 years.
Word usage, and of course the common common example I give quite a bit is the way they would use the term gay back then as opposed to how it's used now. Gay back then
meant happy,
festive or happy. Even in the Flintstones song, when you have the line, "Well, they'll have a gay old time." They're talking about like festive, like they're going to a party.
Happy old time,
right?
Not
two guys, hustling,
getting it on,
rustling around in bed together.
Yeah. Anyways,
all right. So
let's see whether we can actually get through this story.
I am ready to battle crime. My purpose is to bust the rackets.
Good luck, my boy. Remember, that Big Dick has many killers on his payroll.
Dr. France gazes after the departed Blue Beetle.
The Blue Beetle is his most. The Blue Beetle is on his most dangerous task.
3 of Big Dick's killers guard the entrance of a private hotel.
The boss sent me, Lefty, to bring her in.
If that dame reporter hadn't made such a fuss about the kid croaking, we wouldn't have to work today.
It wasn't the reporter; it was the mutter. Yeah. Idiot. Anyways, what to tell? Oh, the Blue Beetle.
The Blue Beetle makes a surprise attack on a motorcycle.
It's a cinch to plug him.
Get him down! Bloodthirsty fellows, aren't you?
I'll get ya for this, Blue Beetle.
Out of my way! Wham! A lightning on his feet. The Blue Beetle wheels to the other gunman. Yes, with my bulletproof armor on.
Can't stop you, yay? Oh. But how are you, Posh? And how are you, Fitzjozo? How are you, Raul?
Huh. The killer draws a hatchet on the blue beetle.
This'll get ya.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Don't be cut up. Don't be cut up about it. As he punches him through the window, breaking the window. You shed the blue beetle leaps through in pursuit. Can't let him warn the others. The blue beetle smashes into the gang's headquarters.
The three of us, we'll finish this mugs for sure.
You boys don't care how many bullets you waste. Your aim's improving.
CT Posh says he's good, just chilling. Hey, why don't you stay put?
Gotta make a contact. How do you like the merry-go-round? Kind of an interesting.
Not liking it all, really. It's going a little too fast.
All right, so as we continue on here, the blue beetle releases the human pendulum. Go say hello to your friend. Strike!
Try and duck this.
Thanks for the warning. Like lightning, the blue beetle hands shoot up. You won't stay there long. Don't worry. The blue beetle completes the trick. You won't be up there for long. Just like a flower. Big dicks. So it's the blue beetle. You've got to pay for your crimes, big dicks. As long as I have to pay, why not to you, Blue Beetle? That's a lot of money. You're smart. Let's make a deal. 100 grand if you'll lay off. What do you say, Blue Beetle? It'll be all yours. You can't erase your crimes with money, big dick. You and your rackets must go.
You're making too much racket.
Big Dick's foot presses a button while he keeps talking. He's on talking to the Blue Beetle. The stairs collapse under the Blue Beetle. Oh, the old sliding staircase bit, huh? You've seen that in cartoons before, right?
Yeah.
Where sometimes all of a sudden the steps kind of go flat and it becomes more like a slide.
Yeah.
Crash! Now I got you where I want you. Take on to the tower.
Okay, boss.
You won't have far to dump him there, boss. Here's the damn reporter, boss. You're lying. You couldn't capture the Blue Beetle. Take her to the tower where the Blue Beetle is. In the tower. There's your great Blue Beetle. I can't believe it. He met his downfall at the hands of Big Dick. There's only one way to get out of here. It's only 40 floors down.
Actually, there's two ways. There's the door that he came in, and you guys are stupid. You have him captured. You haven't taken his mask off. You haven't done anything to him other than just move him to a room to capture him. You know, like he's going to wake up eventually, and then you're going to be in trouble. You guys are
Yes,
stupid.
but Rick,
It's comic book.
What do we know about comic book villains?
They're stupid.
Yeah, these level of guys. These guys obviously, if they did graduate high school, they graduated very low grades, probably.
Yeah.
You know, so they're not necessarily the sharpest tools in the drawer, as it were.
Yeah.
Let's see who the Blue Beetle. Oh, they finally got. Look at that. Let me read that again, because that's a rarity. Where actually now they're gonna try to take off his mask. Let's see who this Blue Beetle is. Okay, boss. Boss, he ain't out. But you'll be. Whoosh. The round isn't over yet. Blue Beetle, you've saved me. I've still got a trick up my sleeve. How do you like the taste of that? Big Dick locks them in. They'll find you here after the gas clears away dead. The room is filling with gas. The windows are. The room is filling with gas. Windows are only chance. Oh, Blue Beetle. Hold your breath. Courage, Joan. I'm not afraid. With you, Blue Beetle. I'm holding my breath. We're almost down. Are you all right, child? Thanks to the Blue Beetle. Now for Big Dick.
Ready for the Blue Beetle!
I didn't even realize that. Whoever makes a move gets riddled, but first, even a score with the Blue Beetle. Say your prayers, Blue Beetle. Sometimes you watch my feet instead of my hands, Big Dicks. See that you get a good shot, boys. Bam!
Who saw the Blue Beetle?
Everyone, but he disappeared like he always does. Blue Beetle scores again against crime, New York Chronicle. The Blue Beetle returns to his beat after becoming Dan Garrett again.
Just a few more seconds more, and I would have had the Blue Beetle.
Too bad. You should have seen the Blue Beetle's latest exploits.
Oh, he ain't much.
Don't fret, Mike. Maybe you'll catch him someday. Another thrilling adventure of the Blue Beetle in the next issue. Mystery Men Comics is on sale the 15th of each month. All right, Rick. So, overall impressions of the story.
Well, the second half wasn't too bad. The fighting and all that. Some normal comic tropes of the stupidity of the villains. But the premise to set it all up, I don't think was good.
Yeah, they kind of really a real strong need to build, to suspend belief there that
Yeah.
now, albeit, again, depending on how she felt, how the children fell, and all that, like it is possible, like most likely, what they were trying to showcase is that the girl, when she landed in such a way that her neck snapped, and when your neck snaps like that, that's pretty much instant death.
Oh yeah, that I get, but just the fact that they're showing them on a slides, what are max of 10 feet in height. You're coming down it. It said what wood like paper, so you're dealing with a wood slide, maybe some metal on it. If it breaks, most likely you're just falling straight down. They have these kids flying off of it.
But it also depends upon where. I mean, it also depends upon where on the slide. You like, because slides are kind of like.
Yeah, but if you're going down, right, and it breaks in the middle while you're there, you're just going to go down with whatever breaks. You could, I guess, maybe catch a little bit of you might get a little bit past it, and you're just going to end up sailing off the end of it, but we're planning on sailing off the end of it.
Right. But the thing is, what I'm guessing is, depending upon how tall the slide was, when she, if it broke when she basically hit the recline. So you got it at the top there, and then you got the start of the decline, and then we got the recline there at the bottom before she comes off. If it broke, that might have added more to the momentum, causing her to.
Yeah, but the recline is so close. The coming up is so close to the bottom. It's like a foot max. You're not going to go flying that much up into the air. It shows her flying really.
Unless, of course, because of how it broke.
Yeah, but when it's
like all of a sudden flipped her up as well.
Yeah, but I don't think there's much chance of. Frankly, I don't think there's any chance of it breaking in such a way that it would flip her up that high into the air. I just don't think it's possible.
And also, again, depending upon just how young the girl is, too. Like,
yeah.
Now, granted, it looked like she may have been somewhere like 5, 6, or 7 there. She was small enough. She's small enough. If it did, in fact, flip her up to where she was in the position we saw her in, to where her feet were up more towards the sky and her head was down.
Yeah. I just honestly, I can't see anything like that ever happening for like a faulty wood, so it's not the best wood. You know,
Yeah.
maybe he's using a bit of rotten wood or something like that to make it like paper, easily breakable. So you get on it, you put any weight, it's just going to break. You're going to go straight down.
And then again, they may have just written it this way to make it sound more dramatic, but
yeah,
you
well,
know,
that's obvious. But
as we know, and if you listen to when Metal and I have talked about a lot of these comic stories too, you know, these comic book creators back then, were not always they did not always use a whole lot of common sense.
Well, that's for sure here, in my opinion. But as I said, so the premise
Or
to
reasonable
set up,
logic. So.
the premise to set up going after the bad guy, I think is a very big stretch. But the actual fight at the end and all that, you know, after he started going after the bad guy, that was good. So this is I think it really weakens. I think the start really weakened. It got better at the end, but so we'll see where the other ones lie. Where this is going to end up lying in the the grand scheme.
My guess is it's going to probably be in the middle, maybe the lower half of the stories that we read tonight. But anyways,
yeah,
we're now at the 51-minute mark. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story then. And we're going to go over to Wonder World Comics number 19 to meet up with your old buddy there, Rick. Yarko.
Oh, Yarko did wonderful, yes. Yarko the magnificent magician, or he will be coming to visit you today, yes.
Oh, down a little too far there.
So, anybody in the chat got any comments on the story that we read for what you heard of it, or even a comment on our comments or something like that? Well, Mike is bringing up this next story, which is Yarko the Great, I believe, or something like that. Yarko something.
Yeah, well, Yarko the Great is the name of the story, and I'm just
The character. Fitzgerald says, nothing to say. This story has been covered to death. Okay.
well, people were commenting on it during the show too. So, all right, so now with that being said, of course, let's go ahead and actually, before we do get to it, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment, Rick. So if you want to talk to the chat for a moment before we get started here, I'll be right back. So.
Okay. Yarko the Great, master of the magic. Oh, what are we got here now, eh? I don't know what I'm doing now, eh? Yarko the Great. I am Yarko the Great. I am the master of the magics. We've done Yarko several times before. Normally I do some East Indian type of accent, I think, on him when I'm doing him. I am Yarko the Great. How are you today? I will bring all about my magic because I am a master of the magic. I don't know what to say. What to do? Scooby Dooby Doo, looking for you. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? Oh, Yarko the Great, Yarko the Great. He is so great. He makes you disappear. Poof. Okay, maybe it don't make you disappear. I don't know. I forget what he does. I know he is a master of the magic. Looks like they have a girl up there, and looks like she might not be wearing any clothes. I don't think that is appropriate.
Well, we do have to remember, though, back in those times, this was still before CCA, Commons Code Authority.
Yeah,
So it's probably this type of stuff that led to Commons Code Authority.
yeah. Just the woman that is above his turban, nearly. Oh, in Yarko, I think that is a woman, and it seems to be showing her top off without any clothes.
Hmm.
I just happened to notice that. Although it does not give really much detail, but it's just enough to make you say,
Yeah,
"Oh, I
yeah,
don't nurse."
it actually does look like, at least on the one side there, it does kind of look maybe like a woman's breast there, I guess.
Mm.
But you point out though, there's another guy over here that looks kind of like, from what little we're seeing, like possibly naked too. Up top, but
Yeah. Or most of the time, it is all right in these things for guys to be naked on the top. You know, you don't really want to be showing the women naked
yeah.
on the top.
Well, let's see what. So Yarko the Great, master of magic. Yarko, a young American initiated into the mysterious magic of the East, pits his mystic powers against the forces of crime and rackets. Underworld denizens quail before him. Greatest magician of all time. Late one night, Yarko is called to the home of a friend. Oh, by Anthony Brooks, by the way. Yarko, I'm glad you came. I just received an urgent message from Doctor Medico down in Haiti. He's in serious trouble. The natives have been dying for no apparent reason, but the most amazing part is their bodies disappear as if into thin air. Now his daughter has suddenly taken ill with this strange malady.
Oh, Fitzgerald says, "Why is it always the East?" Because it's thought of mysticism and all that, and magic and all that.
Yeah,
With
it's kind of funny too that we mention that, like, East mysticism and what have you, because recently, it's kind of funny. So what with the church I go to, they do something every other week. They call it the prayer room, where everybody gets together at the church, and um Now, it's not like a prayer meeting like you would normally think of it. Or anything. I
Yeah.
would describe it more as more like a meditation room. And I was discussing this with one of the other guys there, and he was saying, "Yeah, but the reason most people don't like to use the word meditate is because it's usually associated with stuff like Buddhism." And I point out, well, yeah, the word meditate or meditation does tend to be more associated with like the Eastern religions, like Buddhism,
Yeah.
Shintoism, Hinduism, and all that.
But even the Bible, even Scripture says to meditate on the Word of God.
Right.
So,
And what I
and that,
somewhat remind him of that, I remind him, well, the actual meaning of the word meditate or meditate is to ponder deeply, to consider deeply, to think deeply about, and
yeah.
meditation is
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Fitzchozo, usually Africa or Europe is not really known for the mysticism and all that. Yeah, you had Druids in whatchamacallit, England and all that, the UK area. So I guess there would be a little bit of quote unquote mysticism there, but you get more that mysticism being known for in the East, for whatever reason,
particularly in India, if you think about it too.
Yeah.
Right? The country of India. Not what Columbus chose to call the people of Native America, mind you. Just
Druids come from Ireland, he said. Well, okay, Ireland, whatever. I believe there was some in England too, or Wales, whatever, in the British Isles, we'll say. Anyways, it has all the earmarks of zombieism. One of the cruelest of the ancient black arts, in which body of the victim is brought back to life, but the mind only reacts to the master's wishes.
Now, the thing about zombieism, though, right? That kind of necromancy, as it were, that's actually more associated with voodoo magic, which is more akin to the Caribbean region, like Haiti and Jamaica and all that.
Yeah.
So,
or even Africa a little bit for voodoo, I believe. Anyways, I would go at once and investigate.
Good luck, Yarko. Yarko suddenly appears in Haiti.
Yes, I have come.
It's Yarko.
Yes, I have come to help you, Doctor Medical.
I need help badly. My daughter has suddenly disappeared.
I have come none too soon.
She became ill and passed into a coma. I stepped out of the room for a moment, and when I returned, she was gone. I can't understand it.
The zombies.
I have thought of the zombies, but Haiti has been rid of that evil sect for years. Well, zombies are not a sect, okay? They're the living undead.
Yeah, maybe, but only the zombies could do such a thing like this. And hello, Kieran the cutest. Kieran the cutest is here and says hello to me and you. And then says, I'm late. I know I was helping make a YouTube video for a friend. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's Matt Surrey under their new name.
Yeah. I've done this. I've drawn that character before on my channel, but she has as her. That's Megan, I believe.
Doctor, quick! The great master wishes to see you at once. He does not feel well. I will go right away. This
Yeah.
may be a similar case. That is why I wished you to come along, Yarko.
Oh, yes, we may get a clue as to the nature of this mysterious malady.
Actually, it's for that word. I know it doesn't get used a lot in today's language. It's actually pronounced malady. It means illness
Oh,
or sickness.
malady. This
Yeah, malady.
mysterious malady.
Right. Oh, doctor. Oh, Dr. Medico. And how fortunate you brought the great Yarko with you. Yet, yes, Mako. He is visiting with me. Mako hits a gong, and two servants suddenly appear. Show them to the guest room. The reason I'm gritting my teeth again is because Lily does have like something in it, like maybe a toothpick or something like that.
I think it's
Yeah.
supposed to be his mustache.
Yeah.
He's got one of those big long mustaches.
Hmm. Yarko studies the servants intently.
Hmm. They seem dead and listless. I believe I was right.
Suddenly, the servants take Yarko and the doctor by surprise. Hey! And tie them up. Ha ha! Yeah, look like he's got something. That might be a mustache, but anyway,
Yeah, because he's also got the goatee, so it would go with it.
yeah. Ha ha! The great Yarko, the only man who could spoil my plans, shall soon be under my spell. Suddenly, the doctor becomes violently ill. Oh, the pain! I can't stand it. Oh!
He has passed out. This is too much. I must stop this fiend at once.
The ropes that hold Yarko are suddenly empty as a cloud of smoke appears. He's gone. Outside the door, Yarko reappears.
This must lead to the fiend's chambers. And no problem about being late either, Kieran.
Yeah, we always like having you, Ned Story. You're always good about, always good about participating. So, that's always appreciated. Quick, Master, Yarko has escaped. You blundering fools! He must still be in the castle. Find him and kill him. I will have the castle searched immediately. As Yarko rounds a corner, he comes face to face with a gang of giants. There he is! Get him! As they race for him, Yarko gestures,
This will stop you.
and a wall of fire encircles Yarko. Fire! The giants turn and race away. Uh,
Oh, no.
oh, I almost said it. Go for it, Rick. Sorry about that.
The one great fear of a zombie is fire.
I hear screaming. My servants must be finishing off Yarko now. Ha ha ha! Yeah, that's what he thinks, right?
Kieran says, I appreciate the feedback, but these shows by you, Rick, and the others are the only thing keeping me happy in sad times of life struggles. Oh, well,
Well,
I'm
I'm
glad of
glad
that.
for that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad for that too. I'm not sure what your struggles are, but I'll try to remember to keep you in my prayers, Kieran.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my big goals here for my shows, especially when you look at a lot of the content that's out there, and I know Rick, Rick and Metal, probably and some of the others that we hang around with, probably all have a lot of the same thing. You do see a lot of YouTubers out there whose content, does sometimes it gets a little too naughty or nasty or whatever, but and I can't say as much for Rick. He'd have to say for himself, but I always like to make sure that when I'm doing my shows that I am providing a positive place for people to come and hang out and just talk about some of the good stuff. Not yes, we will at times when need be, we will give legit criticism, but it's not
Yeah,
like very rarely I would like sit there and like still 6 months, a year down the line, be talking about the same thing about like a couple that's in the midst of a divorce um,
yeah,
battle, and talking about like nasty stuff happening in bed and all that. I think you kind of know what
yeah,
I'm referring to, right, Rick?
yeah. We try and keep it light. Yeah, we talk sometimes. We talk about what's going on and everyday stuff, but we try and keep it short. Thing, yeah. Sometimes we bring up something that maybe that happened 6 months ago or whatever, just because it's natural in the conversation. But other
Right.
than that,
I mean,
it's
like the other day, I had to cover some new Vic Mignogna news, as there was a couple stories that came out as
yeah,
well on that. So, I mean, we will cover hard news and we will give legit criticism, but we're not gonna beat a dead horse, or at least I'm not gonna beat a dead
yeah.
horse.
Or not for too long, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have our fun with it, like we did with Danielle Pineda, but eventually, it does come to a point where it's time to move on,
Yeah.
as we will
Okay.
do, as we will do right now. Suddenly, Yarko appears in a cloud of smoke. Yarko!
Yes, I have come to end your fiendish tricks.
I shall be your master, Yarko. You cannot stand the powers of my eyes.
We shall see.
For a long time, Yarko and the fiend stare into each other's Oh boy. Oh, the innuendo here. Right, Rick?
Pardon?
Uh, Suddenly, the
They
fiend
just gaze into each other's eyes so lovingly. No.
I cannot stand it. You are too strong, but you shall never get me. This gas bomb will stop you, Yarko. The bomb emits a cloud of smoke.
Imuk.
Oh, Yarko gestures,
Imuk.
and the cloud turns into a great giant.
Ugeg. Mihin. Minoy? I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
I believe it would
Go
be
get him.
well, yeah,
Come.
but backward it'd be like Og Teg Me.
Me. Me. Oh, dang me.
The smoke giant races after the fiend. Oh, don't!
Oh, you know what? I wonder whether this is where they got what what's her name's idea, the idea for what's her name, Zatanna, speaking backwards, because he
Well,
just did it.
okay. Well, actually, it didn't originate. That idea did not originate with Zatanna. It originated with her father,
Oh, okay.
Zatara. Right? Zatara was the one who was known for, um, was
Speaking
known.
backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Zombies stick pins in wax images of their victims. I must find these images in order to free the doctor. Free the doctor and his daughter, and these other poor victims.
Yeah. As I told you, this is all more voodoo magic than anything else.
Yeah.
At least what he's dealing with here in particular. In the meantime, the fiend has eluded the smoke giant. I locked that smoke giant in a dungeon. Now I shall burn these wax images, and all my victims will die with me. Oh, he's a real cheerful one, isn't he?
Yeah.
I shall throw them in one by one, and they shall die most horrible deaths. First will be the doctor and his beautiful daughter. Yeah, what a cad.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Yarko appeared. You!
Stop.
You are too late, Yarko. There they go into the fire.
You fiend.
Quickly, Yarko gestures, and the fire turns into water as they fall. Well, here's the problem with that, though. If these voodoo dolls are so connected to people, yeah, they may not burn to death, but they may end up drowning.
Yeah. I would think not, because as soon as it turns into water, it just fall and just go on the ground, and they wouldn't be, that much in the water to drown.
Well, it depends upon how deep they get into the water, though. You know,
Yeah, but that's what I'm
because what
saying is,
because what I at least with voodoo dolls like that, right? The idea is that they feel whatever the doll feels. So if the
yeah,
doll
yeah,
is submerged in water, then naturally the doll would be filling up with water, and therefore they would also be, they wouldn't be filling up with water, but their lungs would feel like they're filling up with water.
yeah, and I get that. But what I'm saying is, because the fire's all big, right?
Uh,
And it's in one spot. As soon as it becomes water, it falls to the ground, and because there's a lot more space on it, it just spreads out, right, and becomes
mhm.
thin. That's not. It's not in a real contained space,
Mm-hmm.
so it would be very thin. Yeah.
Don't get me started on voodoo stuff. Um, ew, that stuff is scary. Yeah. It is a magic of the Caribbean, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it could be, it can be, and
I'll beat you yet, Yarko. If I die, all my victims die. I will jump to my death from this window.
stop.
Before Yarko can stop him, the fiend jumps from the window.
Too late.
Quickly, Yarko waves his hand, and all the pins fly out of the images.
Dude, Toyo, Toyo. I'm not sure how to. It's out, anyways. Fitzgerald says it's not really scary. It's just descendants from the pagan practices of Africa. Well, to some people, it would not be scary. To me, or it would be scary. Me, you, Fitzjozo, not all that scary. I don't find it scary myself.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope I was in time before he hit the ground. I'll see if the doctor is alive.
Yarko, what happened?
Oh, you're alive. Good. I was in time to save all the victims. He was practicing the ancient black arts of the zombies. His death has been broken, has broken the spell.
Now they're all free. But where is my daughter?
She is chained down in that pit.
The fiend. Yarko gestures, and the chains break. Another Yarko gesture, and a girl slowly rises out of the pit. Father, what happened? I thought I'd never see you again. Yarko saved us all.
That is the last of that evil practice on this isle. The last of the zombies is dead.
Thanks to you, Yarko, the world is free of that evil practice.
Now you can continue with your work there, Doctor. I must leave now. I have much work to do.
Follow the mystic exploits of Yarko the Great in the next issue. Yarko presents his magic. The great coin. So here's just some pieces here. So, anyways, alrighty then. So,
We are at 22 minutes after. We should have enough time to do at least a third one. He says, long comic. Went CJ Post says, long comic. Went to make dinner and you're still going.
well, no, it's not the same story though. The first story was 10 pages. The Blue Beetle story, this one was only 8, and then the next one we're going to do is 7 pages. But
we don't know. We don't know when he went to do it. This one did last about half an hour in our reading, since you said it was like 50 when we ended the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just past the 20 mark after. So that's about half an hour or so. Yeah, sometimes it takes us a little bit to get through it because of discussions and all that. And Kieran says, now I'm hungry.
Yeah. I did highlight that a moment ago. So I'm going to set up the next story here, Stardust from Fantastic Comics number 12, but I'm going to need to step away from the computer again, so momentarily.
CJ Posh says, knowing Rick, he had to talk about every page. I don't talk about every page. I just talk when something catches my fancy.
Yeah.
And even Mike does.
That's another point of the whole show here too, is, as I always say, if something grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions on it, and we'll try to answer the questions the best of our ability. So anyways, so while I'm of course setting up the story here and getting us to the actual story here, Rick, overall impressions of Yarko the Great. The Yarko the Great.
I think it was about a normal Yarko story. It wasn't super fascinating, but it wasn't awful either. Definitely a little better than the first one, in my opinion. Seemed to be even keel for it.
Just trying to. That said, the problem is that Stardust, of course, is more in the back of the book in this case, so it's kind of like it's going to take me slightly longer to get to it. You know,
Yeah,
at least
that's no
with this
problem.
site, because
Yeah,
you have to click each. Unlike with Read Comics Online, where we could just simply scroll down.
yeah. Anyways, Kieran says this project I'm doing with my friend has taken my energy. Who knew recreating the Bible in Minecraft was difficult? Oh, that is interesting. I would definitely like to know more about that, Kieran. And then CJ Poshers, whatever happened after you called them, Stu, for when the Beetle was knocked out and they said they had no way out? Well, the Beetle was really faking it. They went to take off his mask and, to find out who he was, and then he revealed, I was not out. I was just luring you in. And he kicked the one guy into the wall, and then he was going to take out the big bad guy, but the big bad guy is like, here, gas pellet. We're going to fill the room with gas. And then he shut the door, and I guess locked him in. I don't know why they didn't just go out the door, but then Blue Beetle smashes the window and crawls down the building with the girl on his shoulder, or hanging onto his.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Crawls down the building with the girl hanging on his neck. The bad guy is somehow down at ground level of 40 stories, attacks him again, and they end up getting the best of him. And he's taken. I'm not sure whether he's killed or taken to jail. I think he's taken to jail. Rick, I'll explain in your server later after the show. Okay, awesome. But is that going to be some sort of video or what, Kieran, for the doing the Bible in Minecraft? It's going to be a series if my friend can get enough traction from it, as far as it's different from what he does on the YouTube. Well, I can't promise him a lot of views or whatever, but when you get some stuff done, a video or whatever, if you're doing it on YouTube or whatever, try and come over my way. Maybe we can get you guys on to talk about it. As you know, my stuff is Christian. You may or may not know, my stuff is Christian comics. So, okay, that should be interesting. So basically, right now you're doing the story of Moses and the plagues.
Yeah.
So did you guys like recreate Egypt in there or in the pyramids or something like that? Have a whole lot of straw statues of the Egyptians and Israelites. Well, before they're Israelites, because they're not. Well, I guess they would be Israelites. Yes, you'll like it. I'll link to it when it's out. Okay, awesome. Okay, well, whenever you're ready, Mike.
All right. Yeah. All right. So. All right. So. Anyway, so now we will get to the third story, and at this rate, maybe the last story of the evening here. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Of course, Stardust Super Wizard.
Two magic guys in a row.
Well, yeah. Well, I'd say Stardust isn't exactly. It's not as much magic. I think it's more science sorcery, as it were.
Okay.
Sorcery. But I guess we'll wait and see here.
Is this the first story of Stardust, or as we...
No, I've read some of his stuff before. So, by Fletcher Hanks.
Stardust the Super Wizard has become a meme. Okay.
Stardust, vast knowledge of interplanetary science has made him the most remarkable man ever lived. So if you ever heard of the old TV show Watch Mr. Wizard, or you've seen some scientists that are called wizards at times, then now you'll know what that all means.
He really likes torturing criminals. I found that a lot with some a bunch of Golden Age heroes.
From his marvelously equipped observatory on his private star, he devotes his abilities to crime busting in the solar system. On the highly civilized planet of Venus, he cites the fiendish Chaos, a criminal scientist of great ability. Stardust, realizing what immense chaos is to humanity, keeps in close touch with activities in the Chaos Laboratory and experimental station on Venus. Chaos, by means of new fertilizers, has developed a strange planet. So you want to be Chaos right there?
Okay. My super vitamin vine is at last perfected.
Stardust tunes in his crime detector on the busy Chaos. The detecting needle is vibrating violently. Chaos is planning some terrible crime. Stardust tunes in his thought recorder and focuses his view plate for a close-up of Chaos. He's planning to use the gigantic vulture birds of Venus in some criminal way.
If I can dominate those vultures up there, I'll be able to conquer the earth.
We recently read of another villain who was basing himself out of Venus, Dr. Zavanna, when we were doing the Fawcett books. But anyways.
I'll concentrate my hypnotic control ray on them and draw them to my experimental station.
As Chaos releases the ray, the huge birds fly down to its station.
Now I will feed them strong meat mixed with the juice of my super vitamin vine. This juice will give them greater size and unlimited power. They will be able to fly so fast that human eyes of the Earthmen will be unable to see them. And their talons will be powerful enough to crush concrete and bend the toughest metals. There are millions of these vultures. All the great cities of Earth, all the units of warfare will be at their mercy. By using my hypnotic control ray on them, I'll be able to conquer the Earth in a few hours.
This guy's quite maniacal, isn't he?
I'm definitely putting that into it, I guess.
Megalomaniac. Yeah. Megalomaniacal. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Chaos feeds the vultures the juice of his super vitamin vine, the birds develop rapidly in power and size.
I must keep them under complete control. And Fitzgerald says his plan is kind of dumb. Yes, it is. I will admit that. But it goes back to this time where this is the craziness of Golden Age and Silver Age or stuff like that.
Well, these guys are, you pretty much get the impression that a lot of these comic book artists were not Rhodes scholars
or writers. Yeah, does he even give the vultures bombs to drop? Well, why do they need bombs to drop when they can crush, everything in their claws? They just got to grab it and crush it, right? Like he said, the concrete is nothing to them. Like steel, bend the steel. Just you grab a plane with their thing, and they're like really big. They're as big as airplanes, or bigger than airplanes.
Yeah. Stardust follows the plot closely. Chaos is going to transmit them to the Earth's atmosphere on concentrated thought waves. I must intercept them. Stardust, the private star, is much further from the Earth than Venus is. So the millions of demonized vultures have the advantage. In his tubular spatial traveling at terrific speed on accelerated supersolar light waves, Stardust starts his race to save the Earth from destructive conquest.
Fitzjoseph says also the science here is nonsensical. Concentrated thought waves, they're just making up terms. You think? Like a lot of things science fiction did back in this day. Like, heck, Flash Gordon did it. This is before Flash Gordon, I believe. So.
Flash Gordon was kind of around at this time.
Oh yeah, the novels might have been around before this because it was novels before it was a comic book or a movie, right? Or movies, motion pictures.
Well, I know that Flash Gordon, at least from the comics end of it, Billy came out of the same group that brought us like Popeye, the Phantom, Mandrake the Magician, all that. So, the company that would eventually become King Feature Syndicate. Anyways, meanwhile, Chaos has assembled the vultures ready for transmission to the Earth's atmosphere. Soon, under control of the hypnotic ray, the powerful birds zoom out of the Venus vapor into space.
I just looked up for Flash Gordon. It says Flash Gordon was a comic strip that ran as a Sunday strip from 1934 until 2003. And then there's something here. One source for Flash Gordon was Philip Thing, Willie, and Novel When Worlds Collide from 1933. So, it goes way back to the early 30s, Flash Gordon. So,
yeah. So, and then Metal says, Flash, AO, savior of the universe. Wait, the birds can fly in space? Okay, so yes, we actually, it's kind of funny because people were actually pretty ignorant when it came to space science. It's like the whole idea people could just sit there and travel in space like they travel in planes on Earth.
But then, and then we also have to remember these are not our birds from Earth. They are birds from Venus. They are vulture Venuses, Venus vultures. So they're slightly different.
This was at a time when a lot of people thought there was actually life on all these other planets, right? People actually thought that that a human being could actually live on Venus, despite that, there's a lot more like helium and hydrogen there that would suffocate you. People thought we could probably live on Mars, the red planet. People thought we could probably live on Pluto or on Jupiter. So, I mean, this is still a time when people really thought that we could quite literally colonize other planets with no real like danger to it.
Yeah, because they didn't realize what the atmospheres of these planets were like or whatever. So, yeah. And the first Flash Gordon serial was in 1936. So
there still isn't any air for the wings to push upon.
Well, I'm not sure how much accurate DS9 is, and they wouldn't know that. They thought differently about space in that time. But there's solar winds, I believe, so maybe the solar winds push them.
Oh yeah, I remember the episode you're talking about in Deep Space Nine. There, they made it sound, because the Cisco's actually recreated a supposed trip the Kardashians did.
Bajorans did.
Oh, the Bajorans.
Kardashian.
Yeah, much to the Kardashian chagrin, but anyways.
Yeah.
Aristotle knew that in order to fly, you would need wings to force the air downward.
Yeah, but is there any up or down or whatever in space, really?
I
thought they were. But
in that reasoning, though, you probably still could get, because look, rockets use rocket power or firepower, right? Any effort, even in a vacuum, would still do something. Solar winds are a real thing. There's no air in space.
Well, if they push if they flap like this, they would be creating "quote unquote" air or molecule. I'm not sure how you would say it. They would be doing something to push forward.
Yeah, their motion would create some kind of momentum. Is what I'm thinking there. See, Metal says here it was only about 20 years before this that physics finally abandoned the idea
Yeah.
that
Lumiferious Ather.
luminiferous luminiferous
Ether or ether.
ether um, losing the final holdouts after Einstein killed it another 20 years before that. All right, so
Yeah.
and this story we've got quite a bit of debate about too.
Yeah, well, it's just because the stupidity, shall we say, of the science. And
Well, it's not. Yeah, I mean, stupidity would be one word. I would say ignorance is probably a more accurate
yeah,
word for that.
but it's very reminiscent of the time. Like this is very
Right.
Flash. I see very Flash Gordon much stuff in this. And stuff like Flash Gordon of the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, did you read the?
Well, I was going to start to, but we kept going back to.
Sorry. Okay.
No problem. Controlling them from the rear in his super speed rocket dart, Chaos gloats madly.
The Earth will soon be mine.
Stardust sees the vultures approach the Earth's atmosphere. If they reach the Earth, it will mean a horrible destruction of life and property.
Well, I haven't read any Flash Gordon. Fitzgerald says I haven't read Flash Gordon, so I can't say otherwise. Well, I haven't really read any Flash Gordon, but I remember I watched old Flash Gordon TV series or serials or movies or whatever. I've seen them, and this just seems like that. And that was like from the 50s. If you go back to this time, like things are just ludicrous a lot of times, especially for science fiction. Like even if you probably read like Jules Verne and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In some ways it's ludicrous, but in other ways it's, very insightful, especially for the times.
Mm-hmm. Well, it gave you a good insight into what they really knew about like things like space travel and what it might be like to be in space.
Yeah.
How much of it was fantasy and how much of it was reality.
Yeah. And if you think about all the movies from the 50s and maybe some 40s, I'm not sure about 40s, maybe 50s and 60s for what I've seen. Maybe there might be some back in the 40s of what they did with space travel and aliens and all that stuff.
Jules Verne at least made sense at the time. Jules Verne was ironically very ahead of a lot of the scientific knowledge at the time. It just seems a bit ridiculous now.
Yeah. And I get that. And I guess that's half what I'm saying. Not that this obviously always seems very ridiculous what we're reading here. But it was. Oh yeah, I'm sure you've watched many movies from the 50s that make more sense than this, but my point is more they had the ludicrousness of this back then. Sometimes they made a little bit more sense, sometimes they didn't. Probably movies they probably did make a little bit more sense because they would take a little bit more time to think about it before putting it on the big screen. Mm-hmm. This, it's a comic, who cares? It's kids.
I just left my apartment, and when I came back, I forgot I left you guys on, and so I heard people talking inside my apartment. Was about to rush you guys until I remember. No, I get what he's saying there. I've had moments like that too. Going in and out of my room at times,
Yeah.
thinking I hear something, and realize, oh no, I left the computer on. Oops.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just try and get through this.
Yeah. Well, we've had a nice hearty debate about all
Oh
this.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So, in desperation, Stardust increases his speed special until his spatial leaves a trail of friction fire in its wake. The giant vultures are now entering the Earth's inner atmosphere and flying at amazing speed.
Kieran says that's funny. Imagine Mike and Rick robbing you blind via the TV or the
Wouldn't that
computer
be
monitor.
something? Or just say something, Razum Razam, and your whole entire living room is in my room here.
Well, that would make your room very crowded.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways,
Yeah. The foremost birds head for the battlefield. The sky suddenly becomes darkened by their flight.
what has happened? And that's another thing. These birds do not look very much like vultures. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Then, with a speed and power that cannot be combated, they crash into bombing planes.
See,
Look at that.
yeah. Well, like I said, saying earlier, they crush the planes and stuff in their talons.
They
That's
rip
what it
up
said.
they rip up fortifications and motorized equipment of all kinds. They swerve to the sea and wreck battleships and transports. The survivors are panic stricken as the mad vultures swoop among them. Well, obviously, this has been more narration than anything else, not a whole lot of dialogue, but still.
Yeah. Fitzgerald says they look more like giant hawks. Yeah. Well, hey, I guess
Right.
giant hawks are vultures on Venus.
Yeah. Meanwhile, under the control of chaos, the majority of the birds heads for America.
Oh, I just thought of something with the joke earlier and us talking about it. The character of Inspector Gadget, Chaos.
Yeah.
Dr. Claw, Chaos.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So anyway, they first attack the large cities. Chaos, operating his rays successfully, sees an easy conquest.
Now one of my vultures must capture a beautiful woman to be my empress.
Oh boy, bad guy wants a woman in his life to play with.
Oh, let's see. Fitzgerald says the vultures don't even have feathers on their face to prevent infection. Kieran says it's nearly 3 a.m. for me. I want to go to bed, but I want to stay up for the history segment. Cool. CJ Pa says, look at that one hawk that's the size of the whole top of a building. Those are giant. Yes, they are. They already said they were giant right at the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
And then he made them even bigger.
All right. All right. Just as America seems doomed, chaos is shocked by a violent flash.
What was that?
The next instant, Stardust shoots out of space. Quickly releasing his fusing rays, he demolishes the pocket dart. Then the super wizard grabs Chaos from out of the wreck. You'll pay for all of this. Stardust retracts hypnotic ray and the vultures go wild.
Oh, wow. Look at the size of those two. You know, Stardust is very big compared to that guy.
Again, a perceptual thing there, I guess. Taking Chaos with him, Stardust darts among the giant birds. Not wanting to use rays, he beats the leaders into submission.
And see, even right there, you see the difference in their height.
Yeah. The birds are finally subdued. Stardust suddenly notices that one of the vultures has a beautiful girl in his gigantic talons. The girl seems unharmed.
Pause says I didn't hear you say that they were giant, so I was agreeing with it. That's no problem. Don't touch her. She is the Earth Woman I'm saving for myself.
You fiend! Stardust releases his suspending ray and leaves Chaos hanging helplessly in the air. Then he darts towards the bird at terrific speed. As he strikes the vulture, the bird drops its beautiful captive. The girl begins falling. Stardust swoops down to her. Are you hurt? I think not, but I'm terribly upset and scared. Shall I take you back to your home? Oh, please don't take me back. Those birds have wrecked our home and killed my parents. You must feel terrible, but isn't there someplace you'd like to go? I'm now all alone in the world, but you're so kind. I'd like to be with you till I get over my fright. But I have duties to attend to. Oh, please take me with you. I'll try not to be any bother. Stardust releases his anti-gravity ray and leaves the girl floating in midair. Oh boy, he's not having it. He's not having it.
I think he is going to come back for her, but
yeah. Don't get frightened. I'll soon be back. Then he swoops down to the soaring vultures. He releases his powerful propelling beam. Your vultures are going back to Venus. The birds suddenly zoom into the sky straight for their planet. Stardust darts towards the suspended Chaos. I'll transform you to a worm for the vultures to eat. Oh boy, yikes. Another gruesome death here, huh?
yeah.
There comes a flash and Chaos turns into a worm. Stardust then propels Chaos, the worm, to Venus. Oh, look at that! Look at that proportion there.
Yeah.
As Stardust returns to the girl, would you like to come to my private star for a while? It's very restful. Oh boy, what a
Like everybody else on Earth is traumatized, but yeah, give the girl this particular
yeah,
girl
but
special treatment.
you know why that just sounds so fun. That's like,
Yeah,
isn't that one of the classic pickup lines right there?
that's criminal. What's criminal?
Oh, suggesting that.
No, he's after that. He says that's criminal for what we were just reading.
Yeah. Oh, Stardust, I'd be crazy about it.
Fitzgerald says, of course, Stardust doesn't feel anything about what just happened. Yeah. Well, even all the drawings in this one, as you can tell, are very rudimentary. They're very stiff.
Yeah, but the scale on that one in particular is really well off. I mean,
Well, no,
he's like incredibly huge, and she's like normal size. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but he's supposed to. It looks like he's supposed to be like double or triple the size of regular people.
Mm-hmm. Out into space, in the direction of the stars, vanish Stardust and the homeless girl. They arrive on Stardust's star. This may be your own castle as long as you wish. Oh, I can hardly believe it. Follow the thrilling exploits of Stardust in the next issue.
Well, not exactly the word I'd use for this exploit, but
Fantastic Comics is on sale the 10th of every month. All right, so this is definitely going to be the last story we're going to. So we tried for 4, but we got through 3 of them, so that was still pretty good. Let's see these last comments here. Let's see. Of course, Stardust doesn't feel anything about what just happened. The size difference, everything there is criminal.
Like a Great Dane and a Chihuahua, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, anyways, with all that, of course, being said now, we are done with that, of course. Rick, overall impressions of this story?
Well, I think it's a different type of story. It's not like the first one. Yeah, you have to really suspend disbelief with this one. It is sort of crazy-ish, to say it nicely, or ludicrous, as I think I've been saying. It is very, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, very Flash Gordon-ish. For the things in it, it's obviously slightly different. Not very much is very well thought out here. But it is what it is. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It's ludicrous. Completely ludicrous.
Yeah, we're almost there, Netsuri. When am I going to find out what happened in each day of each history? Well, each history, and I'm struggling to. Yeah, I know we're almost there. We just had. Anything more you want to say about this story before we start wrapping things up, Rick?
I can't think of much.
Okay, so the
Anything?
penultimate. Okay, so anything you want to say again? One last
Yeah,
thing.
no, I really can't think of
Okay,
anything.
okay, okay. Um, Now for the penultimate segment before, of course, wrap things up with this day in each history. Okay, so we got through 3 stories tonight:
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, Yarko the Great, and Stardust. Out of the 3, which one did you like the best or made the best impression, and why?
Oh. Well, I know which one is getting last place, shall we say? um, already. You know, this last one that we just read, it was quite ludicrous. Yarko was, in some ways, it is tough tonight, just because these stories were not the best.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I'm gonna say the for the best one tonight, or gave the best impression, and it's not saying a lot, is Yarko.
Yarko?
Yeah, it was just even keel. It it was a little bit ludicrous too, but it was a Yarko story. It wasn't too way out there or whatever. Like this last one that we read, it didn't have too much suspension of disbelief and all that. So I'm gonna say that gave me the best impression of all the stories tonight.
All right, so
So
Yarko is the one you picked as the best, or the one that made the best impression for you.
yeah,
The one that you liked the most or made the best impression.
yeah. And now I must admit, this last one was probably a close second, just because the ludicrousness of it made me laugh a lot,
Uh-huh.
especially with going with the chat. Talking
Okay,
with the chat.
okay. So, with that being said, now moving on. So we talked about the best. Now, in contrast of the 2 remaining stories, and I think we got a pretty good idea of which one you're going to probably choose. But I'll ask the question anyways. Of the 2 remaining stories, which one did you like the least or made the least impression, and why?
Well, obviously, I think, as if anybody could guess from what I've said so far, Blue Beetle is on the bottom of the list. It's the one that I thought wasn't the best of all the stories. And it's like I said it earlier. The beginning, the end of it was pretty good, all right, but it's that beginning, that initial first shot where they're on that slide, and it's like total chaos. I don't believe that shot in any way, shape,
They
or
were
form.
really asking you to suspend disbelief there.
Like, yeah, this last one that we read, it suspends disbelief in a different way. But it's Flash Gordonish. It's supposed to be campy and corny, but they want me to believe that this slide broke so bad that these kids are just going flying off of it, and directions that they're really going to get hurt, instead of just falling to the ground and get a couple bumps and bruises. Uh, as far as I know, that would never happen, from just climbing up a ladder on a slide and going down. It looked like a basic slide to me. So with that, it just really messes up the beginning of it. So that's why it gets put to the bottom of the list.
So
Uh,
Yark
although
the best
although
and Blue
Fitzgerald
Beetle
liked
the
it the
worst.
best.
Albeit Fitzgerald actually liked the Blue Beetle story the most.
Yeah, and I thought Stardust was a girl from the Teen Tank. Oh no, you're thinking of
Starfire.
yeah, Starfire.
Right.
And the other thing, CJ Posh, there can be characters with the same names that you might know from modern day stuff that would have names in the golden age, and they've gotten taken over or whatever. Like there's a black cat, there's a black widow. Was there a black widow? Yeah, I think there's a black widow and all that sort of thing back then, but they're not the characters that you would know today with those names.
All right. So with all that being said, then kind of wrap up. I know Nitsuri wants to get to bed here, so we'll get to the part that she's been waiting for. So today, of course, is August the 9th, 2026.
Yes, but we're dealing with August the 8th, Thursday, because this weekend.
Yeah. So with this being Sunday, of course, since we don't do a show on Saturday, now we are going to take a look back at this weekend in Nietzsche history.
Okay, later, Fitzjoseph.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so now, so first off, we're going to head back 100 years ago yesterday. On yesterday's date,
long time ago.
Yeah. On yesterday's date, 100 years ago, and I'm sure that Metal would be happy to hear about this one because it has a lot to do with him. One of the cartoons he likes. Pat Sullivan's Jim Gems, or Felix the Cat Jim Gems, premiered in movie theaters on yesterday's date, 100 years ago, back in 1926. The Cat in Jim Gems from Pat Sullivan Comics was released in theaters on yesterday's date. Director Otto Mesmer. So, a hungry Felix tries to eat a shoe, and the paste from a Bill Poster's bucket. Ugh. You'd have to be extremely hungry to really... Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very appetizing meal, to say the least.
No. But it's a cat, right? They find things
Yeah. Then finds himself in a boxer's training camp, where he aggravates the boxer, who proceeds to beat him up. With the help of a mule, though, Felix gets his revenge on the boxer. So 100 years ago yesterday, the Felix the Cat cartoon Jim Gems was released in theaters. So now, we
will probably pop up a few years, probably a couple decades.
Oh, quite a few, actually. As on yesterday's date, 15 years ago, back in 2011.
So 85 years later.
15 years ago yesterday. Let's grab it.
Yeah, of course, that was 85 years from the 100 years ago.
Yeah. 15 years ago yesterday, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event from the HP Pavilion at San Jose in San Jose, California. It was the go-home Raw before the following weekend's pay-per-view. I recall.
Good night, Karen.
I guess she couldn't stay awake long enough to get through this, huh? Well, we this is usually the 2-hour show, so it's a little longer than usual. But I thank everybody for being here. But anyways, so 15 years ago yesterday, of course, in the main event, R-Truth defeated John Morrison in 4 minutes 1 second. Alex Riley defeated Dolph Ziggler by DQ in minute 25. Other matches included The Miz defeating Kofi Kingston 10 minutes 42 seconds. The show opened up with John Cena defeating Jack Swagger in 5:22. All right, so that happened. Those things happened yesterday, or some time ago yesterday. Oops. I goofed there. So now moving ahead to today's date, 1996. All right. So 30 years ago today, on this date, 30 years ago today, wrong one, Mike. 30 years ago today, back in 1996. All right. And TFC, or Tohoku Shinsha's Film Corporation, the anime Jigokudo Reikai Sushin was released on yesterday's date.
In Japanese theaters?
Yeah, in Japanese theaters. Well, I don't know. I don't know if this was it. I think it was a movie. A trio with a fearsome reputation enters a store rumored to be the gateway to hell. The storekeeper tells them a story, leading them to use his magical token to find a murder victim's restless spirit, starting their supernatural career. So, again, let's see. It doesn't say here if this was a movie or trying to. Probably is a movie, though, by most part. So, released in Japan 30 years ago today, TFC's Jigo Kudo Reikai Sushin.
So it says it was 45 minutes long, so might not have been a movie.
It could have been a special. It could have been a television movie. All right. And finally, moving ahead to the year 2006, 20 years ago today. On this date, 20 years ago today, as soon as I bring that up, of course. On this date, 20 years ago today, the 220th issue of Betty and Veronica from Hardty Comics went on sale on this date 20 years ago. Of course, among the stories featured were all Betty and Veronica stories, including The List, Who's the Coolest, Whiteout Conditions, Summer Shopper. All right. So with that being said, well, before we head out, of course, Rick, would you like to?
Well, I'm just going to post
any last minute promotions or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm just going to promote the video that I promoted earlier over on my channel where me and Metal went over his RPG system called the Entropy Effect, and then ended up creating a character for me for a one shot that we will be doing most likely in the next month or so over on my channel, along with a few other people.
All right. So, all right. Well, with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We actually had some lively discussions tonight, not just between me and Rick either, but even with the chat over, but that's one of the fun things about this too, is just going back and just seeing people's perceptions of things and how those perceptions may have changed over time, either because people are more knowledgeable now on certain topics, or just simply just see how things change over time. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. You know what they say, right? Those who do not know history are
those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Right. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. Rick, if you can stick around for a moment afterwards, just just post show stuff real quick. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.